Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Game over, Edmonton. We are on the air. It's your boy, Avry Lewis-McDougall, here in the host chair for the Game Over Network. Edmonton knocks off Utah Hockey Club 4-3 in overtime. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the game winner. How you doing tonight? How are things? How are you enjoying your evening? It's good to be back here after a little while off. I was busy doing other things, busy handling CFL playoff coverage, other things with Avery Sports. But it's good to be back here in the host chair for Game Over Edmonton. I missed y'all. Please, if you can, like, subscribe, and comment to the Game Over Network YouTube channel. Helps that gives us a big hand when it comes to creating content, getting the show going further. I know you want to see us create more shows, but before we dive any deeper, you have to check out our flagship show, Hyperdrive Hockey. Hyperdrive Hockey, they cover all things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries, whatever it is and wherever it is. Max, Daphne, and Kev got you covered with all your hockey news and a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also head to the Hyperdrive Hockey page on the GameOverNetwork.com. Yes, every Tuesday and Friday, make sure you tap in to Hyperdrive Hockey. I was on there last week talking about talking about replay in hockey. Yes, almost forgot what I was on the show for to talk about on the Not Even Sorry segment. It's a blast. It was fun. So definitely make sure you tap in Hyperdrive Hockey every Tuesday and Friday. So, Edmonton, their first ever trip to Salt Lake City, the team that was, technically they were and they were not the Arizona Coyotes. Of course, this team went to Utah with the Cleveland Browns formula of relocation, which the players went to Utah, but the history, name, and colors of the Coyotes, that stays in Arizona for a future reboot of the Coyotes whenever that does happen. So Utah HC is an expansion team officially in NHL history. And I'll give them credit. It was a good crowd, solid crowd there in the Delta Center, which, of course, if you know your sports history, Delta Center, it's the iconic arena of the Utah Jazz. It's built for basketball, so there's about 4,000 obstructed seats because that arena was not built for hockey. But it will soon be renovated, and it will soon be a facility that will be made to accommodate both hockey and basketball. Although the anthems and the game intros, they were a little bit odd, to say the least. They are a little bit different, okay? But it was a game in which early on, Edmonton, they came back after 5 days off. And that first period for the Oilers, they looked off in a major way. The only forward early on that got things going for them was Jeff Skinner. He was buzzing. He was playing well, but anybody in that first period not named Jeff Skinner looked tired. It looked like a team that, had been off for quite some time. And they looked like they're off for more like 25 days, not 5 days. That break caught them only 5 shots on net in that first period. Calvin Pickard tried to do his best, but the Utah HC, they were buzzing in that first period. They are getting chances on Pickard, and they were rewarded. They were a team that came out of the gate hot early, and that's a fun team. I do like Utah. This is a team that I had projected going in. This is a team that I thought was going to be a playoff team and will be a playoff team in 24-25. The squad I do think will find a way to either get the number 3 seed in the Central or find a way, I still think, to sneaking into a wildcard spot in the Western Conference. I like Logan Cooley. I like Clayton Keller. they've got some great pieces in that top six forward group and on the back end, and if and in net when their goaltending is on between Kirill Vejmelka and Connor Ingram. So I do believe in Utah finding a way to turn things around a little bit more and keep up in the NHL's playoff race as we get past American Thanksgiving. And yeah, those of you who I saw, there were plenty of Oilers fans in Salt Lake City. So I gotta say, I applaud each and every one of you who took that trip down to Utah, who took the risk to travel to America on U.S. Thanksgiving weekend. Because, flights out of any city in Canada to get to the U.S. Whoo-wee. Those flights, those flights were not fun. Those flights were not fun. They were jam-packed, and if you found a seat somehow, good for you. You found a seat you're able to get on, and if you're able to get back, because of course, the road trip continues with the Oilers heading down to Colorado tomorrow night to play the Avalanche, and also, I'll be in the host chair for that game as well too, so you're getting a healthy dose, back-to-back, of Avry here on Game Over. If you found seats going there and getting back home to whatever part of Canada you call home to support the Oilers, well done. I gotta give you credit for that if you're finding a way to do that just well. I will give you credit. And like I mentioned, this is a game in which Utah got on the board first, and in their own end early, Edmonton did not look good early. Edmonton did not look confident in their own end of the ice start this game off. We go through our notes here with the game, and it was a game in which the shots were 18-7 Utah after the first period. 18-7. A game in which Edmonton needed to find a way to push the pace against a team below them in the Western Conference standings, and they didn't do that. Alex Kerfoot, he got started early. His first goal against the Oilers in the season series, he got started with the scoring. And Edmonton defensively just looked disoriented between the pairings and between Calvin Pickard early on. And they were down 2-0. And Logan Cooley got in tight, beat Pickard. And I was watching thinking, oh boy, right now the ice is shifted to Utah having their way, getting bodies in front of the net, getting to high danger zones, and Edmonton unable to really do much to alleviate the pressure of Utah HC. By the way, Utah, I sit here again and I'm just so frustrated with the fact that, yes, I know it's their year one look, year one jerseys, year one colors, but come on. Black, white, and blue. Or heavy on the black jerseys, no. You're owned by the same family that owns the Utah Jazz. Where's the purple? Where's the purple, everybody? I don't see it. That's what I need in Utah HC's uniforms next year. I know they said they're not straying too far from the colors, but come on. Let's get radical. Let's get different. Let's have a look that we have not seen much of in hockey. This is a team, or I guess this is an entity that's going from the unique and very engaging Kachina look to black and white. Come on. Come on. I need some more from that. I need some more. And again, this is a game in which I mentioned earlier again, Jeff Skinner, someone who's trying to find more offense in his game, got to the net, got shots on, and he's a guy where if he stays aggressive, I do think Jeff Skinner will find a way to be rewarded and get a few more chances, get a few more goals, because Jeff Skinner isn't going to be a guy who's going to finish a year. He's not finishing this season under 10 goals. That's not happening. Skinner is going to find a way to get back to his pace, what he's done before in Buffalo, in Carolina. The dam will break for Jeff Skinner offensively, like it has for other players before on this roster this season. The dam is going to break for Jeff Skinner as long as he stays aggressive and find ways to continue going to the front of the net. And speaking of the dam breaking, Vasily Podkolzin, he got the scoring started for the Oilers. And good for him. hard wrister, beats Vejmelka. He is someone who has done so many good things for Edmonton this season. Been strong defensively, been strong on the puck. And Podkolzin gets another goal for the Oilers, gets rewarded. He's someone, he came to Edmonton, wanted to come in, show people he could do more than what happened in Vancouver. And for him, things are looking nice. Things are developing for him. I'm a big fan of his game. Huge fan of Podkolzin's game, so it was nice to see him get on the score sheet again tonight. We saw him working hard against the Rangers and see him working hard again against the Utah HC. See, I want to say a name of Utah, but I know no such name exists quite yet, even though I think we all know it's going to be the Utah Yeti. But either way, good stuff for Vasily Podkolzin getting on the score sheet tonight. Great stuff. You know what else is great? Our friends at LaRouche. Yes. If you don't know, Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page. And we're also working on a page through LaRouche, a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000. And if we reach that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. And I know you want more people on board here at Game Over Network. If you have any ideas for what you'd like to see as giveaways for these crowdfunding efforts, let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, or on our Discord server. Hit us up. We would love to know here at Game Over Network. All right. Second period. So, I want to stay in second period. This is a game in which I want to give a shout out to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in this game. Someone who found a way to get a great steal in overtime, game winner. He's someone who I think just deserves a little bit of praise for his effort in overtime in Edmonton's 4-3 win tonight. Someone who last year and the year before, 2023, 2022-23, 2023-24, were years in which Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was a solid foot soldier once again, a solid veteran on this roster. And hopefully that goal, again, causes the dam to break for him as well, too. Because we've seen Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he's someone who has shown he's got a phenomenal shot. When he gets it going, it is great to watch. And he's someone who's going to have to step up again a little bit more in that top six. Because we know he can do it. He has the ability to do that. Remember, 22-23, he had that year of 104 points. 23-24, dipped off, but he still was a guy who put up over 60 points last season, almost had a 20-goal year again. Right now, in 23 games this year, Nuge only has 10 points, so the pace has to pick up, but I hope this is a sign of things to come, because we have seen his play being elevated on different levels in different seasons. And also, in this game, the power play stepped up again. 2 power play goals. Can that return? Can that get back to what it was? Well, maybe not exactly what it was last year, but if the power play can get back to being consistently within the top 10, top 15 of the NHL, that's a really good sign for Edmonton. And we saw again, bodies moving, players moving near the net, chances generated, getting shots on. Not looking for one thing is that the Oilers sometimes try to Harlem Globetrotters the puck into net too much. Just get pucks on through traffic, get something on Vejmelka, and you get rewarded. We saw Leon Draisaitl scores tonight. 17 goals on the year for Leon Draisaitl. And I said it on Twitter. Leon Draisaitl, in my mind, could be a Selke finalist and have a 60-goal season. He could do that. He is such a strong defensive forward this year. He could do both things and still keep up that scoring prowess. We talk about the MVP race. We talk about it being guys like McKinnon, McDavid. We might be talking about Leon Draisaitl getting his second MVP this season. That really might be a big discussion to have this year. Leon being a 2 MVP man for his career. I'm being dead serious. The way he's playing right now. He's finding ways to put the team on his back. And he's been one of the more consistent forwards on this roster. I know we've talked about Edmonton struggling with consistency, struggling with finding ways to get guys going. But Leon Draisaitl, he's the guy, him and Connor have found ways to, yes, there's been games here or there where both Leon and Connor have at times had off nights, but they haven't had consistent off nights. Leon and Dry lead the way in scoring for Edmonton. Draisaitl, 32 points. McDavid at 30 points. Sometimes I wonder, for these two, is the NHL too easy? And I know it sounds silly, but sometimes the NHL looks just a tad bit too easy for both Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. It really does. It really does at times look just a touch too easy for these guys with what they're able to accomplish, with what they're able to get done. But that's a good sign. It's a good sign to have. It's a great sign. It's a problem that most teams wish they would have. It's a thing that most teams wish they had that issue where they're too good right now in that aspect. A lot of teams wish they had that problem, but Edmonton has that in which, dang, it's too easy for these guys. It really is, but I'm enjoying it, and again, hopefully the dam breaks for their comrade, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, as we saw with overtime goal. If he can get consistency again, that's going to be needed to take the weight off the shoulders of guys like Draisaitl and like McDavid, because, again, this team can't revert back to being a two-man show all over again in this division and in the Western Conference. Last year, we saw contributions from far more than those two guys, especially when it came to the deeper rounds in the Western Conference playoffs and in the Cup final. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. But when this show is done, remember, tomorrow, not when the show is done, next week on Monday, come back here on Monday in the mornings, you got Game On to tap into. Game On has got you covered with all things hockey. Graham Mosimann, he's got you covered in a fun, concise hockey show in 10 minutes or less. It's a short form podcast. Graham runs through Monday to Friday, all different NHL stories that gets you ready for a strong day of hockey action. It's on YouTube and it's available in podcast form, and you can find it on the GameOverNetwork.com. Game on Hockey. Graham does a phenomenal job. All right. Third period time as we get through Game Over Edmonton on a Friday night here in Alberta's capital. Hope you're having a safe and fun Friday. And hey, if you want to tap in to Game All Over, you want to get your questions in, please hit me up in the YouTube comment section. Let me know if you got any comments or questions, concerns, complaints. Let me know. Let's talk. Fire away what might be on your mind when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers, in terms of the win tonight, the game against Colorado tomorrow. Let me know about your burning concerns with this franchise, because one thing about the Edmonton Oilers, win or lose, this team in large part isn't boring. There might be a game or two where they are boring, but in large part they're not boring. So third period, I gotta say, so tonight, goaltending, Calvin Pickard, he got the start tonight, and it was okay night for Calvin. He did make some big saves late. He did make some bigger saves, and I know early on he was beaten by Kerfoot, Cooley. So it was an okay night. Calvin did enough to win in net tonight for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner gets to start tomorrow night against Colorado. So, and again, we said it before in this podcast, and we said it before all year long. Edmonton just needs serviceable goaltending from both Skinner and Pickard, and they should be okay. But we're seeing again now the discussions around the goaltending, around John Gibson. Is John Gibson going to be an Oiler? We've heard the talk about Gibson possibly being okay with a trade to Edmonton. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but it appears this team is still very much tied to running with the tandem of Skinner and Pickard. I don't see it making a trade for a goaltender. It sounds like they won't in the near future. That's what it sounds like. I know we've heard some reports that they are concerned. There's a lot going on right now about what the Oilers want to do in terms of what they want to do net. We've heard a lot of reports conflicting in support of it, but nothing definitive yet when it comes to what they're going to do in net. This roster is interesting, and what else is interesting is Four Nations Faceoff. Now, we know Connor McDavid is going to be there. We know he's going to be on that roster come February. But who else from there is going to be with him? Will it be Evan Bouchard? Will it be Zach Hyman? Will it be Stu Skinner? Now, it's sounding like a lot of people don't support Bouchard or Skinner or Hyman on that roster. Now, personally, I'm a big Evan Bouchard fan. I know Bouch at times has had his issues, but he's still, in my mind, he's still one of the better offensive D-men, and he's gotten better defensively as the season has gone on, as his career has gone on. Yes, at times, there can be a little hiccups in his game, but Bouchard finds ways constantly to recover and not make the same mistake in a game twice. He finds ways to recover. He can be a little bit risky, yes, but I think it's worth it to have Bouchard on Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off come February in this week-long tournament. Now, I don't think Stu makes it, unfortunately. I don't think Stewart's going to be on the roster. I think you're going to rock with Team Canada with Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill. I could see Joey Decord. I could see Canada finding a way to get him on that roster. Because remember, Joey Decord, born in America, born and raised in the U.S., yes, but he has citizenship for Canada. He's got a Canadian passport through his dad who's from Montreal. So I do think Canadian brass finds a way to get Joey Decord onto this roster come February, and they're probably going to rock Decord, Aiden Hill, and probably Binnington, who I'm not really that big of a fan of in net. But if you can get Joey Decord to Team Canada, go with that as your starter. If Stu does get on, he's probably gonna be the third string guy. So he might not even dress unless something goes wrong for Team Canada. But yeah, as it stands right now, I personally do think Stu is number 3 guy for the Canadian team at the Four Nations face-off. The guy who I think is realistic, the guy who I think does make Team Canada outside of McDavid for Edmonton, it's probably going to be Zach Hyman if things pick up for him. Because we've seen Zach Hyman before play well on McDavid's wing. If he can find a way to get the production up a little bit, he should be on the Canadian roster for game 1 of that Four Nations face-off. But he's got to find the back end net a little bit more to convince the Canadian brass. But he has a shot, though. He has a shot among the guys who I listed to play with Connor. He has the best shot by far outside of Bouchard and Stewart to play with McDavid on Team Canada. So let's see. Let's see how things shake up. But before we go to overtime and your questions, you know what you should do? You know what you should do? You should get yourself some Game Over merch. Yes. Look at that. Look at the hoodies. Look at the mug. Look at the shirts. I know you want some Game Over merch. You can get them in any team you want. Any of the Canadian NHL franchises, we got some merch for you in all 7 markets. What better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of the retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design currently on sale, or you want to rock your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, it's up for you. Or if you just need a coffee or a tea or a hot chocolate for the winter time, we got you covered. It's all designed by Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. So use that QR code on screen right there. Take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. Yes. Get you some Game Over merch. Get you some of that merch for Game Over. Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, whatever your team of choice is, get yourself some merch. There you go. Great stuff. All right, so... Oh, our bad, gang. Any questions or concerns? So it appears... Any questions here? So it appears we have quiet night on the questions. So a quiet night when it comes to questions or comments. So I think we'll wrap things up here early on Game Over Edmonton. I'm back again for Game Over tomorrow night against Colorado. Tap in. We'll have some more fun. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your Saturday night as the Oilers look to make it 2 wins in a row on this mini road trip. Oh, sorry, my bad. They're in Vegas as well, too. They got Vegas as well after this. So, 3-game road trip. Utah, Colorado, Vegas. So, can they go 2-0? Well, we'll find out tomorrow night, won't we? Anyways, I'm Avry, and please, thank you for watching, listening. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me as I broke down Edmonton, Utah. Edmonton gets a 4-3 win in overtime, as one Mr. Jack Michaels likes to say. Anyways, talk to y'all tomorrow night. We are out of here. Peace.